The NOTS project is to spread the idea of doing transdisciplinary research and teaching. And the idea is that all participating universities get an idea about this new form of knowledge production, and maybe in the future we hope that young staff, students can use it, will use it if they think it fits the context they are doing research in. This year we also have included already what we have learned, the challenges we faced during the last summer schools and Fieldtrip, and I think it's really great how the Open University actually organized it, and everything went perfect. I think we had interesting discussions, interesting field trips. We were also facing some challenges, but I think the idea of how to do transdisciplinarity really get more through because of the project and because we are now in the final phase, so to speak. And for me, actually, it's great to see the learning process and also see how people actually participated in.
The first days of the summer school, we heard a lot about TDR, how to apply it in the field, and there were several speakers and they talked with us about their experiences and their research. Also this year there were some people from NGOs, so this was a really interesting different view on TDR. We've done a role play where we had to catch the position of different actors.
First to cooperate with people from Southeast Asia, from Europe, and have this intercontinental sort of cooperation, and to talk about issues that are pretty far removed geographically, at least from what I'm used to. That was really cool. And I thought what was also really interesting is the very activist perspective that people in the summer school had on transdisciplinarity. So the idea that everything we do should serve a very specific, very on-the-ground social issue, or some sort of problem that is there should be addressed by what we do. I think these were probably the two coolest things about the triangular traders thing.
The beauty of the system or the methodology itself is it creates opportunity for us to actually understand things from different perspectives, and I think it's great that it's a kind of system that will actually help us to fix real problems in the real world.
I think that the teaching manual was really helpful to expand my knowledge about the history of TDR and how to apply it, what methods could be used.
It's very interesting to learn how to apply TDR and the different methods which we were introduced here.
A lot of different topics being talked about. We had the social inequality, the environmental, and the migration part, which was really interesting because we had a focus on the Mekong Delta, which we didn't have in our preparation in Vienna. So it was really nice to see how transdisciplinary research is being applied here, very regional.
For TDR, it's quite new for me. It's interesting to know that we should collect information from academic sector and non-academic sector to solve the problems. You guys hold the field trip so that I can practice what I already learned, and I can learn and then practice.
The idea of how to structure and select the field trip for this summer school named Fieldtrip, this originated from the idea how we can connect the local knowledge with the knowledge from the university and institution to apply our methodologies of transdisciplinarity. Our team developed the idea to select the field trip from last year in September. From the idea of a thematic topic related to on-field site in the field trip from March 23rd to March 27, 2019, participants will explore with specific problem and solution for the environment, inequality and migration issues to be able to share and visualize a relatively general picture of the Mekong Delta in many different stories from cities and provinces, including Hồ Chí Minh City, Bình Dương, Trà Vinh, Đồng Tháp, Sóc Trăng and Cần Thơ. More importantly, participants have a good chance to discuss and work with non-academic stakeholders in interdisciplinarity our perspectives in every field site to fulfill their learning process.
I was in the field trip number 3 in Chaving, and we explored and learned about the salinity intrusion problem. And during the field trip, I got the chance to do and at the same time learn what can be done with TDR when it comes to a real social issue, and here it is the climate change and salinity intrusion. So due to the limited of time, we didn't have the chance to get too much information, but we worked with different stakeholders, including the local farmers, NGOs, and the local authorities, and we see different perspective and different opinions of people. But I think this is the part that TDR play its role, where it can connect different perspective and get people sit down together to really come up with a solution to a shared benefits and in order to solve it. And I realized that TDR can be a very good method that can strengthen the connection between different stakeholders in climate change specifically, and in general a real social issue. And I think that TDR has a very high potential when it comes to study practical and real social issue, and in order to engage different stakeholders, different parties to really come up with a solution.
I am joining the summer school in Group 4. We went to the Long Tom Island, which is located in Mekong Delta. It was very interesting experience for us because we learn about TDR approach and we try to apply it to use in field. That area is kind of very challenging for us because of the culture limitation and also political challenge. So it's difficult for us to try to apply the approach to study. So every time we conducting the information, we have to discussion and apply or adapt the knowledge that we have to the summer school in the classroom to the field. That was we have challenge to the field trip. And furthermore, the village that we visited itself also very interesting because of local people they are very rely on their livelihoods, their common and natural resources. So I think it's good for us to learn about their life, because Mekong Delta is not stay alone. It share resources with all countries along Mekong basins. So I think for furthermore research must be very important for the research, and the collaboration in international levels.
For the past 3 days, we have intensive interviews and official, unofficial interviews with different stakeholders at different levels, from the provincial level, district level, and also the commune level. So our research topic is about landslides. And during the different levels of interview, I realized that being a researcher, we are not supposed to have a presumed assumption over to the topics that we are going to, because our prime focus is about landslide. But during this process, we find that landslide is only our projection bias to the local communities. Their concerns of livelihoods are much more complex and multifaceted than our expectation. So during this process, we have worked with them to create knowledge, to introduce TDR into our research projects, and that come out to be partially very productive and fruitful. I wish we can continue the further research into this project, and that is a very interesting topic.
Number 6, and we went to this small village in the province of Sichuan, and the village is called Ban Lan. The topic we were appointed by NOTS is migration, but we decided to leave the topic kind of open because we're not sure what the real problems are facing the villagers, and we're not sure whether migration is a drive, is something that drives them out of the village or not. So we kind of went there with an open heart. The thing I also very enjoyed in the village is that we actually live within the village. In one of the migrants, inside one of the migrants' house, so that house was left empty, and we get really to know the ambience or the vibe within the village, and we can see they're struggling with life, and also how some of them are very positive, some of them are not about the future, and we get to interview them fairly easily because they're just around us. Yeah, we also interview some of the authorities and the union members, so we can get a overall picture of the area, including the village. Yeah, but we haven't really, given the time constraint, I guess we haven't really found a perfect candidate for the cooperation. But we can start from the future, from now, I guess.
In Fieldtrip 1, we went to the Vienna province and focused on the migration stream, the Khmer migration stream topic. And in this field trip we had the great experience, a great chance to talk to different Khmer migrants and to hear from them how they came to the province and how they deal with the daily challenges. And it was quite interesting to have this opportunity and to get those interesting insights of their daily life and how they tackle with their daily challenges. Yeah, we tried to implement the TDR approach, for example by having a soccer game together and to try to bond with the Khmer workers, which was a great experience. And in that way we were able to build up relationships, at least a little bit. Yeah, in our field trip we had interviews, for example with Khmer workers, especially women who work in the factories, and as well as interviews with the landlords of the Khmer worker accommodations, and as well as with local authorities, which enabled us to have a broad view on this migrant topic.
Part of field trip number 7, we went to Kanto district in Mekong Delta to investigate there a little bit about the topic of international marriages. And overall, it was really important learning experience for me to work in this team of very interesting students and academics and organizers of the whole summer school. Also, it was great to see how our idea of applying transdisciplinarity was slowly changing throughout the whole trip, and also the opportunity that we got here to meet with all the actors and to interview all the women and organizations. I really appreciate it because I'm fully aware of the fact that here it requires quite a preparation. We met, for example, with Women's Union, which is one local organization which works with women in the area, and then we also met Intercultural Korean Center, which sort of prepares or orientates women who are leaving for the international marriage, and then we also had a chance to speak with some returned women or women that were about to leave the country. So putting all these little pieces of the puzzle together was a great and very strong experience for me.
We had the opportunity to visit the Bintan district and meet a lot of people there. We were able to go to different companies and we were doing some plastic recycling, which was very interesting, and we also met a lot of migrant workers there and had the opportunity to visit their houses, to talk to them and really get an insight of their livelihood there. which was very interesting for us. We also had the opportunity to meet some authorities as well, and to work with non-academic stakeholders from the beginning, which was very, very interesting. They joined us from the beginning and helped us to raise a kind of open research question, which we then adapted within the Vienna district, and it was very exciting and also very interesting to try out and to see what TDR is all about.